Hello, welcome back. I got the headphones on only because I can hear myself, and it makes me realize how I don't have to yell at the microphone. So I like that. And also, I sound like Batman. Welcome back to the Mover Mailbag. It has been a while since we've done one, and I'm trying this multi stream thing: Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and the Twitter. So, this is for you. This is the live frequently asked questions. I guess it's not frequently asked questions. It's a Q&A. But yeah, we're going to talk. See, here's proof. Hey, Mover from the YouTube. And Funky Primo says, whoa. Yeah, it's been a while. Oh, whoa, whoa. Tomcats. It has been a while since I've done the live here on any of these things. And it's been a while since I've done a Mover Mailbag, which means I've got a lot of stuff to get to. Yeah, goodbye beard edition. Jen says, hold on. Did we do the Tomcats yet? I'm already behind. Tomcats. Yeah, goodbye beard because it's drill weekend. So I've got a job now and I've got to go. I've got to shave it tonight and then go to work tomorrow. So the military frowns upon it unless you're special ops, which I'm not. I'm not that cool. All right. So we're going to start with this airmail from Hong Kong. And it says, Mover, thanks again on your content on YouTube. Here is one of your fans from Hong Kong. Write you again. This boat is common sense for us in Hong Kong over half a century. It was even in Bruce Lee's movie Enter the Dragon. It is still being used in the area I work now, the Southern District in Hong Kong Island and Chung Chau in outlying island. Wish you all the best and be safe in your place. Eric. And this was sent in July. Here's your boat. Pretty cool. Ship? Boat? I don't know. Yeah. So anyway, updates for the channel. Tomorrow, Luna's first on the other channel, Life with Mover. Check that out if you haven't already. Tomorrow, the update video on Luna's training, how she started training, is coming out. So that'll be cool. I've got all the stuff from Monday that we need to do. That'll come out, no problem. But also the F-16 HOTAS from WinWing. The review on that will come out at some point soon. So check that out. The throttle and the stick. Also on the Mover Mailbag, I figured this would be a good one too. From our friends. I put the container, so to speak. Our friends at Thrustmaster sent a care package. And as you might guess, it's related to the Mighty Viper. I have not opened this yet. As you can see, I just got it. But it's awesome. I can't wait to check it out. They are so confident. So I told them when they sent this to me, they said, hey, Mover, you want to check this out? I said, sure. Yeah, love to try it. Because, you know, I've worked with Thrustmaster before. They sent me the TSXW. They've sent me all kind of cool stuff to try out. And they said, hey, do you want to try out the F-16 throttle? And I said, sure, but full disclosure, WinWing sent me theirs. And they're like, we're so confident that you'll like it. We have no problem comparing the two. So I said, sweet. That'll be awesome. So with that said, look for that in the coming weeks. It's not going to be anytime soon, but eventually I'll get it set up. And here we go. This one comes, next package in the list is, see, the only problem with the headphones is now that it gets wrapped up and everything. This comes from Polly. Polly says, ICW, you don't know me. My name is Polly. Yes, it's my real name. One day while watching fighter jet videos on YouTube, you popped up and I followed you since. Now on Facebook and the gram. My words, not hers. I have enjoyed all your videos and really have learned a lot about aviation. I think you've done a lot for our country and the community. Just get your humor on Mover Ruins Movies. I laugh so hard sometimes. And to see some of you people with their comments, how do you keep your composure? Kudos. Just a gal in Oregon who's done some very interesting things. It's torn my heart seeing the pain you've been going through. So when you post a picture of you on the floor snuggling Lunabelle, I remembered seeing about this company, which makes burnt pictures from photos. Wanted to send you one, but couldn't figure out what. So I came up with these. Then I watched your video about Sniper, Kaiser, and Lunabelle's breathing. I agree with you about church bells. Yes, indeed. Church bells played when Kaiser died. It was kind of a moment. Everyone can tell how they understand what you're going through and all about their losses. Lost so many animals whom I've adored. I can just be there somehow, some way. Continuum. It's kind of mushy, but you get it. The one picture they burnt didn't show the background of New Orleans very well. It's so blurry. The dogs, all in love. I hope you do too. All in all, I love them. Looks like you have a lot coming in the future. Sounds awesome. Just wanted to give you a memory, Polly from Oregon. So let's see what this is. First off, oh boy, Luna has entered the room because she heard this. It's snacks. So she's a chunky girl. So we might have to limit her on her snacks. Although this morning we did training. If you're not following on the Lemoyne Dogs, Luna, I post as we do our training, but she's doing well. She's doing great. She's a rock star. I was worried today because today was the first day we were doing stuff with distractions, and you know how she is. You know, dogs are. You know, they like to react to other dogs, and there are a lot of poorly trained dogs in this area. So I thought, oh boy, we're in trouble. But she did great. Once a little correction. Check that out. Look how cool. That's amazing. I love it. I love it. That is great. That's a good one. And you know, that's just a GoPro mounted on the canopy rail. You know, it's not any kind of professional photography or anything. It's just that, but it's one of my favorite pictures and one of my favorite moments in the F-18 because, you know, New Orleans is my city, and flying a fighter jet in your hometown, well, home area, is pretty cool. So, check this out. Yeah, I miss the boys. I really do. Lemoyne Dogs, Luna, Sniper, and Kaiser. But thank you for that. That's really, really cool. So I need a Luna cam because she's in here right now. And then it's like we got a toy for Miss Luna Bell, and she's eyeballing it right now. A pig. Is it because I'm a cop? Squeaky, here you go. Here you go, Lou. Yeah, there she is. She took it. And then she dropped it. And that's it. Cool. Awesome. Thank you, Polly. You are better than I deserve. That's awesome. All right, so this next one, and then I'll get to some of your questions because I know they're already piling up, but appreciate your patience as well. All right, while I'm waiting, here's the thing about the t-shirt. So do you guys like this shirt? I had this made because I'm trying to make shirts for the show. This is one of them I made. And if you like them, yeah, we'll sell them. We'll put them available for sale. Let's see. Ooh, okay. This is a thumb drive. I believe this is what they call a test for the thing. Well, thing says super carrier. It says, "Dear CW Moyne, fan of your channel Mover Ruins Movies, I wanted to gift you a long forgotten TV show from the 80s called Super Carrier. Also added videos of old forgotten air combat movies to the USB. One called The Rescue from 1988. This could be another Mover Ruins Movies, written by the creators of the movie Predator, set in Korea. Another is Deadly Encounter remaster, JR from Dallas, and the late Art Scholl, who helped in the filming of Top Gun. Well, I hope you enjoy these films. Want to give mine. Thanks for all the great content you provide. I'll do a great job. Never a dull moment." I don't know about that one. So we'll have to see on that. We'll see. Hold on. There's a postcard here. I got to pick it up. It fell. All right. So the postcard comes from New York, and CC, right? Yep. CC says, "Sending greetings from West New York. Some thoughts to share. I visited Niagara Falls, Power Vista, hydropower station. I recommend it. 2 goals: become a peer mentor with TAPS and now volunteer at the Naval Park. Finding new joys after age 40. Wish you the best in your car racing endeavor, and keep your safety in my prayers. Sending my support. You continue without Sniper. So admire your strength and positive attitude as your military job changes. Respectfully, CC." Well, that's awesome. Thank you for that. Here's the card. Anyway, yeah. All right. So let's get back to the questions because, oh man, you guys still have this on there. So yes, for your shirt, what do you think? You like it? We can sell it if you guys like it. I was planning on wearing. I just got this in, so I was planning on wearing it before. But let me go back to the top because this is your time. This is the Mover mailbag. This is not like the live show. And people ask, hey, how come you don't respond to all the comments and just do the super chats? Is because we don't have time. There's just too many, which is awesome. I'm very appreciative, but there are too many questions and comments and everything, trying to keep track of 2 channels. So we've limited it to the super chats for just to keep it going. So anyway, Kingdom says, have you seen the F-35 Panther patches from the Air Force and Navy? Yeah, I think I have. I mean, I've flown against the guys that fly that. I think it's hilarious that they call it the Panther 60% of the time. It works every time. Cheddar, thank you, says, how many frequencies have you handled at the same time on a mission? I'm sure you'll do just fine with all the stream channels. Yeah, well, I mean, we only had 2 radios, so typically. Spider says, watching on Twitch and YouTube. Geez, thank you. Yeah. Any plans for the helicopter rating? Well, I mean, I've got a commercial and I've got nothing to fly, so not at the moment. But if the opportunity presents itself, maybe so. I wish one of the companies would try to emulate the TDC to use a Force Sense mini stick. TDC. Okay. All right. What ranks were you and Gonky at the time of your Finny flight? Well, we're both majors /04s. So let's see. Barry says, sent you a DM on Instagram. Not sure if you got it, air show. I may have, I may not. Most Instagram stuff goes to a filtered thing. So unless I catch it, sometimes I overlook it. So I apologize for that. If you really want me to see something, email me, cwlemoyne@cwlemoyne.com. It says, Laura says, if Luna gets a certificate at the end of training, you should frame it and add it to the wall so everyone can see what a smart, good girl she is. Yes. She will not only get a certificate, but she will also be certified through the Alliance of Therapy Dogs. So that's real cool. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. John says, I can't wait for the end of October for the Orlando Air Show and Kennedy Space Center. Looking forward to the tours. That sounds awesome. Sounds like a good time. Am I a Saints fan? Yes. Makes me sad that drill weekend is when the Saints start. I'm an LSU fan too, but we don't want to talk about that right now. Did you get around to Starfield? So, no. Mainly, I'm still trying to finish Halo Infinite. I have an Xbox Series S because Microsoft sent that to me. But I've just been going back and forth about whether I'm going to buy a Series X. And, people ask, well, why don't you do it on the PC? Because I obviously have a decent PC. It's because for a game like that, if it's got a good story and I'm not streaming, I just want to play it in the living room and, hang out and relax. I don't want it to be a, job. Brian says, I love the one you're wearing. Awesome. Well, we'll get that up there, so to speak. And Gonky's going to have his own merch as well. So good ways to support the channel. Mover's not a football. I am a whoa. Gonky's not the football fan. I watch football. Yeah. How is your helicopter training going? It's over. I mean, I don't have a helicopter to fly. I got my commercial, and that's where I was going to stop anyway because I have no desire to instruct at the moment and don't need an ATP. So that's where it is. Love the Corvette poster. Yeah, that's what comes with the, I don't know why I'm holding the old screw-in tool here. But when you buy the ZR1, that's what comes with it. Brian says, Mover, have you found another helicopter to fly with Lester? No, and Lester, the closest thing we have, Lester's talking about the R22. They're trying to get an R22, and that really just doesn't interest me. Like, once I've flown the R44, I really don't want to go back to the R22. Luna can't fly in the R22, doesn't have air conditioning, and just, nah. Yeah, don't plug the USB in. Yeah, I hate that because somebody sends me all this stuff and just like, well, I really can't do anything with this. So, yeah. Have you been on iRacing lately? Do you stream it? So, yes, I stream it, or I used to stream it. I have not been on iRacing. I have not actually played any computer games at all recently. I haven't done iRacing, and I don't know why. There's no real correlation, but I've tried one race since Sniper died. Sniper died June 6th. So I don't know why. I honestly don't. But I guess it's because I feel guilty now that there's no Sniper and there's no Kaiser. So I've wanted to stay in the living room in the evenings when I would be racing. And, I wouldn't want to spend time with them. But I tried one race, and because I'd moved my setup, right? This is all new. Because I'd moved all this to give Kaiser more room and to fix my office setup, and all the controls weren't mapped, and I ended up losing a whole bunch of safety rating and I rating because I could not actually join the race. So yeah, but no, I haven't, not since then. But Thrustmaster, I've talked to them about their direct drive wheel, so I'm hoping by the time they're back ready to in stock, I'll be able to do that. Oh wait, hey, this thing had more. Oh yeah, it has the CD. Now this is legit, although I don't have a CD drive on this thing, but this is legit. He actually sent a CD. But the thumb drive, I don't know about that. Adam says, do you suppose the MiG-23 backseater did the interview due to other not mover YouTubes criticizing him early on? I don't know. I can't speak for why. And I don't want people to misunderstand my point, what we were talking about in the show Monday night. Sorry, nose itches. Yeah, it raises a bunch of questions, but I wasn't there, and I don't know what the information that they had. It could go multiple ways, right? It could be dude's a hero, and he had SA that the front seater didn't have and saved the guy's life. It could be that he maybe didn't know what was going on. The front seater had a plan, and the jet was about to come roaring to life, as he talks about, and they punched out, and things could have gotten better. I don't know. My point in all this, and I keep saying that because I've responded to a lot of comments today and yesterday, is you're getting one side of the story, and we need both sides of the story. We need the guy who was actually, the pilot in command, because it's a single seat. It's a single pilot aircraft. So he's the sole manipulator of the controls. I would like to know what the sole manipulator of the controls has to say, what information he had, what he perceived to be the problem, what he perceived to be the solution, and how much time he thought he had, and what he was going to do. Because it sounds like there wasn't a lot of communication back and forth during this time. It sounded like it was a lot of one way. Hey, do this. Hey, do that. Hey, do this. So I would like to know that. And then I'd like the NTSB's truth data, what they can learn from their investigation, whether it's pulling apart the motor or whatever, to find out what was wrong. I would like that. And that's why I always say we have to wait for the investigation to be complete. And it's not really a good idea to speculate. The only reason we're even talking about this right now is because, one, the preliminary report came out. We talked about what the preliminary report says because it's an official source. And two, he did the interview because it's non-standard. It's just not usual to do an interview this soon with an investigation ongoing. That's all. I've heard he's a very good guy. A lot of people, I don't have anything against him. There's nothing personal. I'm not sore about it. I'm not upset. I'm just asking questions because, well, I mean, it's a topic of discussion. We're in aviation. That's what we do. Big risk, only plug. Yeah. No. Eric Johnston. Hey, man, it was good meeting you. And dude, Eric would be a good guy to talk to about this because you flew in there's a video on Eric. Go subscribe to Eric's channel. We used some of that when we were talking about the MiG-23, but Eric flew in the back. He can tell you. He can tell you what, more about it. So yeah. Cut my full beard back to a mustache and chin. Beard or nothing, man. Have you considered ruining early flight movies, something like Blue Max? I don't know what either of those movies are. Yeah, goodbye, beard. So young, barely knew you. And this is just the monthly. This is just the way it's going to be. So Monday, it's going to look dumb. The next Monday, it'll look a little bit better, and then the third Monday, it'll finally look like a beard again. Mover, does Gonky have an email similar to yours? I think he does. I think it's the Ready Room. I don't know. I don't want to speak for him, but he does, and he's doing a lot more FAQs. Eric again says, good video on the MiG-23. Thanks, Eric. And you flew with him. Like I said, this would be a guy that would know. During hurricanes, was there a dedicated base you always went to, or whatever had space? We always left Bell Chase for Jackson. So at the Makos, we went to Carswell a lot. I've been up to Dobbins, Robbins. It just depends on the track of the hurricane. So like one time we hurrivac to Fort Worth and then flew right through the damn thing going back to Homestead. And one time we went to Fort Worth and we got flown up there to go pick up the jets in a C-130, which is ridiculous. It took forever. Nothing wrong with a C-130. It just takes a while, a long time, especially if you have to go up and over the peninsula there. When are you and Ray getting together again? That's a great question. That's a good question. I have not talked to Raymond in a while. I hope he's okay. So, can someone in the chat? I'll explain it because I'm here. It's me. It's my Q&A. Military doesn't allow it, so I've got drill weekend this weekend. So, in general, what was it like flying against the F-35? I was right there. When I flew against it, I was the first detachment OIC officer in charge as an F-18 guy. They were still figuring it out, so they were trying to do a lot of the Super Hornet stuff in the F-35, and it wasn't working out very well. They got all that worked out. And then in the T-38, it's students. So, you'd see a lot of student errors, and you're like, hey, I'm not supposed to see him right now. There he is. Okay, we're going to debrief that. Who is Luna? Who isn't Luna? Luna is the best dog in the world. She is a husky something mix, and she's a great girl. Good dog. Yeah, good go, Luna. Thank you. Han says, which Russian fighting aircraft would you like to pilot? Flanker. For sure. That'd be a lot of fun. Something, that can Cobra, Hayaka. I like the high alpha stuff. It's a big fan. How do you apply on bogey dope for UPT positions? So great question. If you watch the live stream Monday, we did that. Or if you check out the channel tomorrow, I'm posting a video on how you can apply. It's millrecruiter.com. That's how you do it. So check it out tomorrow. All that information will be there. Venom Cinematic says hello. Omar says, saw the Blue Angels last weekend in Toronto. Are the solos always on two different frequencies? I doubt it. I think it's all one frequency. They're just used to it on pacing and stuff. Commercial license with nothing to fly, all dressed up and nowhere to go. Yeah, that's just about the way it is these days. Have any fans ever reached out to you on? Yes, I've been reached out to on Air Force email. I've been reached out to on company email for the airline. Never the sheriff's office email. I think everybody just knows me at the sheriff's office, and they have known me since I've been there. But yeah, for sure. I could stream what? Oh, probably Starfield. I don't want to. Like, it's like Mass Effect, I just want to play the game and relax. I don't want to have to entertain. Because you have to talk when you stream stuff. Can people with asthma get in the Air Force? So that website I'm talking about tomorrow, there's medical standards. It depends. It depends on when you no longer had symptoms. If you're still present with symptoms, I don't think you can. But at the end of the day, make them tell you no. Just try and see what happens. Wondering if a pilot would be allowed to have his comfort dog with him in the cockpit. Most likely that one's no, you can't. And Luna is not going to be a comfort dog for me. She's going to be a comfort /therapy /crisis intervention canine for other people. He's trolling me. Oh man, see, I just read everything from the teleprompter. Would you generally find a helicopter to fly looking for some private owner to talk with them? Yeah, I mean, I was renting and it was working out pretty well, and now it's not. So Tim says, keep up the good work on the Monday show. It can't miss, except now. Yeah. So you guys tell me. Gonky and I have talked about this. I asked this in the last show. Should we move it? Because I've done the football fight, if you will, with Mondays with Mover, and it didn't work out. Nobody watches on Monday night, and I'd like to sit there and watch Monday Night Football. So I don't know. Should we move it to like Tuesday, Wednesday? To me, that's the answer, but it's up to Gonky. So, excuse me. Sorry. Nose is itching today. I don't know what it is. How many miles have you put on the 01? 5,000. I just hit 5,000. And it had, I had to take it in the other day because I got on it and it got a check engine light and the knock sensor went out. But no upgrades planned. I don't want, I mean, that car is a collector's car, man. Last, front engine, rear wheel drive, manual transmission, 700 plus horsepower Corvette. I mean, that's great. Good luck with the rest of your training, Miss Luna. We know she's a rock star, man. She's a smart dog. I don't know what R3E is, so probably not. Thanks, Matt. Appreciate you watching. That's from the Facebook. Have you seen the Gran Turismo movie? No, I have not seen any movies lately. What's the story behind Lemoyne Racing 69? Somebody just sent it to me on the mailbag. It was a gift, as many things are on the mailbag. So nothing special, just awesome. Will you be able to tell us about? I don't know, to be honest. I don't think there's anything wrong with me because they're like, hey, maybe you can help us with recruiting and stuff like that. I just haven't because it's been a rough year. It's been a rough year, and I'm like, let me get settled and let me get into this new job, and then we can talk about it. But it's definitely different. I'm not flying, but I think I'll be able to help a lot of people. And that's my goal, is to do better than what I got. I know that doesn't make any sense, but when I finally tell the story, it will. Go to a local library to test USB. Yeah, just do it at work, right? No, just kidding. I'm just kidding. That's a joke. For legal reasons, that's a joke. Nice shirt. Hey, Nathan, thanks for the logo, man. That's awesome. Thanks for the great content. The mishap discussions have been thought-provoking even for us low and slows. It's always a good thing. I mean, it's always a good, not the mishap's not a good thing, but it's always a good thing to look at, break down. And my goal when I read these AIB reports or whatever is just to translate it, just to go, hey, here's what it means. Here's, based on my experience, here's what I think. It's not to cast judgment or anything. It's just, here's the deal. I know a lot of people want to jump to number one, be first. Number two, throw somebody under the bus or blame people or whatever. But to me, it's about learning, right? Because, I always say, but for the grace of God, go I. Any of this stuff could happen to me, like at any time. I am not, I'm not invulnerable. I'm not immune to any of this stuff ever happening to me. So, all right, let me go. I do have some emails. So let me do some emails. You guys are just going to have to hang out for a minute while I read this. So I think this is far enough back. Let's see. So Mark says, hi, Mover, longtime fan of your channel. Make them tell you no. I wish there were resources like this when I was a teenager in Colorado, but I self-eliminated. My question, after watching you guys go over AIBs, it made me think about the recent MiG-23 crash, seeing how far the plane traveled after the ejection and just how close he came to hitting the apartment building got me wondering about airshow mishaps and if any protocols exist about airshows or just in general about flying a fighter jet ejected over populated areas. I remember the Canadian Hornet display ejection where he was really low and slow and over the field, away from the crowd when he punched out, as well as Captain Cuss lost his life staying with the jet to avoid an apartment building. You have situations like those, and you have situations like the MiG-23 that came close. That Viper landed on a warehouse after crossing over the interstate. The worst airshow mishap of all time was the flanker in the crowd, killing and wounding hundreds of people. I couldn't imagine being a pilot in video walking away. The carnage dragging to shoot, serious mental health issues. Latter examples make me wonder if there's any regard for collateral damage to civilians. Are you trained to protocol with this in mind? Left to personal judgment. Thanks for your service. It is personal judgment because, Gonky and I have talked about this. There's no real sacrifice yourself for this. That's not taught in the military because, we always joke about give it back to the taxpayers, because if you go down with the aircraft, the damage is going to be done no matter what happens. So if you go down and you die in the crash and it kills other people, it's going to kill you and other people. So saving yourself, that's what you're taught. Now, what people do, it depends. I know we like to romanticize this a lot. a lot of mishaps where they said, "Oh yeah, he stayed with it." When they actually do the AIB, it wasn't because he or she was trying to avoid a populated area or whatever. It was just they tried to get out too late or didn't have the situational awareness to know they needed to get out. So it's not taught. That doesn't mean it doesn't happen. I mean, we like to think the best of people. And obviously, even when these AIBs said, hey, he wasn't really doing that, we don't know. We don't know what's in that person's head. So I'll just say it's not taught. That doesn't mean it doesn't happen. Gunnar says, thanks for the fantastic channel. I'm a high school senior applying for both Army ROTC and Air Force ROTC scholarships. So I want to branch aviation. I'd go active, reserve, or guard to get a pilot slot. Can I go A and G from Army ROTC? I don't know. I assume I have to be Air Force ROTC. To me, that would be the best way. In fact, the website I'm posting in the last episode of the Mover Gonky show, and it'll be posted tomorrow, talks about this. There's a whole ROTC going to the reserves thing. So check that out. Here's one for the MiG-23. He says, from the Czech Republic, I knew about 2 crashes of the airplane in the Czech Republic. At first, as I have not further information, so this is just pure speculation. 2 crashes in Czech Republic related problems with the AOA limiter, which is the same as the 1-seater variant. 2-seater have, however, different center of mass. AOA limiter does not work properly during high AOA maneuvers. I don't think, based on the interview, I don't think this is going to apply, but that is a very interesting thing. Yeah, very interesting. Here's a video. There's nothing really to talk about there. Not spam. I'm real. It's from Polly. Polly talks about, as a follow-up to the thing she just sent, that she did Taekwondo, national swimmer, drove for 4 seasons, a 1969 CUDA and 1964 Dart modified pro stock at the local track. Holy crap. She got her PPL by age 18. She's got baccalaureate in astrophysics, BA in music and arts, BS in nursing. Are you just here to try to make everybody feel bad? Master's in healthcare administration, worked in an RN in nursing. She started racing quads after a divorce, was involved in a bad accident by a gentleman sliding into me going downhill. Wow. Geez. And she likes the channel because it's talking about fighter jets. And then she said the thing. Good Lord. Wow. Some people are just overachievers. All right. So here's one. This is controversial. And I love it when people send me stuff controversial because I do like responding to emails like this. So Zuda says, I recently watched your Mover Ruins movies review for Call to Duty. Yep. I have to say the movie Call to Duty is perhaps one of the worst movies about military I've seen. The plot of the movie is ridiculous and special effects are terrible. Well, they're DCS, so yeah. That said, there's one area where I disagree with your opinion in the video. That is on the concept of a female squadron. You state in the video, I've never met a woman fighter pilot who wanted to be singled out or grouped out by themselves, segregated in girl power. So the premise that there would be the wing girls is ridiculous. This statement is simply factually incorrect given recent history. So I'm going to stop you right there. You quoted me as saying, I have never met a woman fighter pilot who wanted to be singled out. And yet you say that's factually incorrect. How do you know what women fighter pilots I've met? Anyway, during the last Super Bowl, the flyover for the Super Bowl was conducted by an all-female team. You may say that the flyover wasn't a combat sortie, but in 2011, the Air Force did launch an all-female flight of F-15Es on a combat mission in Afghanistan. In both cases, the purpose of an all-female flight was to celebrate women's history. Okay, so here's what I'm going to say to that, because it's just as ridiculous as the movie. Just because a one-off flight is celebrated by the media doesn't mean any one of those members of the flight actively sought out being singled out. Doesn't mean they wanted to be part of this. It means that they were there, they were selected, and they did it. But I will go back to what I've said. The fighter pilots that were girls, ladies, women that I've flown with, not a single one of them would want to be singled out. They were just one of the guys, just like us. Nobody thought any different of them. So, and that's not, I mean, that's when you talk about diversity and inclusion, it's about everybody being the same. I mean, the military is the very It's the melting pot, right? This is where everybody's just you're all equally worthless in the eyes of Uncle Sam. So I mean, yeah, there's probably there are. I mean, I'm not saying there's none. I'm sure there's people of all variety that want to be singled out. However, in my experience, most of them are awesome and professional, and I'm going to stick to that. I don't see how that's factually incorrect. So there you go. All right, back to the chat because it's I'm going to be so far behind. Oh, look, I've still got that guy. I need to do better. Douglas is off playing video games right now. Otherwise, it would be better. Favorite non-American aircraft? I don't know. I want to go fly the Griffin. I think that'd be cool. Ugh, it's tagging the wrong user. I'm sorry. Laura says, I think your critique of the MiG-23 interview was fair and balanced. It's not a critique. It's more of we just ask questions. That's all. You know, you present this thing and everybody makes a big deal of it. And a lot of people send it to me and it's like, well, wait a minute. This raises more questions than it answers. Luna, she's at least half Husky. She's got Schnauzer in her. She's got, what else does she have? She's not in here right now. One of the things, because Wisdom apparently updated the panel that said she was a Dutch Shepherd, but I don't know if that's the case. For asthma, are you serious? Back in the day, didn't he give me a waiver for my astigmatism? Well, things have changed, but I think asthma for sure. Not so much. Bunglebush. I admire you for your love of many things, especially your love of your dogs. Dogs are better than people, for sure. I tagged you in river fire photos from Brisbane, CBD low level Hornets. I don't think I didn't see. I'm sorry, I didn't see that. What's it like flying? Am I behind? What happened? Have you talked to Splint lately? Splint and I have one of those friendships where we just share funny memes and videos back and forth to each other. No. So Gavin says, have you decided to skip the airline world now that you've had a run at it? I'm still on leave of absence. I'll make that decision next year. We'll see what else is going on. I will say, the first attempt was not my favorite, but that's not to say it wouldn't be. It wasn't my favorite. Glad you're doing well next time you're in the DFW. Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. Hopefully I see it at one of these like Heli Expo or something like that. Although that was right in your backyard. So Kingdom of Vinland says, would you want to fly the Fat Amy if given the chance? Yes. I mean, of course, duh. There aren't many things I wouldn't. Well, there are some things I wouldn't fly in the back seat of, but there are many things like, hey, you're in the front seat. Good luck. I'd go fly it. Peeps are just scared to email the police. Yep. Okay. What am I jinxing? Oh, I hate that word. Why are you such a badass and have such cool friends? Because of my cool friends, I am a badass. That's why. Hey, Mover BC, man. Cool. Was it difficult to transition from Hornet to Viper? I went the other way. I went Viper to Hornet. And it's just different. And Gonky and I are going to do a video. One of the topics is going to be the Viper versus the Hornet. Here's what I'll say. It's like Apple versus Android, right? You get used to a certain way of things, a certain switchology, a certain way to get to radar modes, a certain way that the jet, because you're doing pretty much the same mission. You just get used to it, and it's just not quite right. And you're like, why did they have to do it this way? Not nearly as bad as when I flew the A10C sim. That's just wrong. I still don't understand the A10C and how they took a Viper stick and then somehow managed to get it wrong. Like the TMUS and the like whatever. It's wrong. Fight me. But the Hornet was just different. Hornet's a lot more hands off. You're pushing buttons a lot more than the Viper. Are you keeping tabs on the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs? I watch races. I don't have a driver. I have drivers that I don't like, but I don't have drivers that I'm like. I like Blaney because I think he's, when he really impressed me when he won and then didn't do a burnout. I think that's awesome. Act like you've been there. You're born in the future. Do you think you would have wanted to be a space fighter pilot? Yes. Nails. Shouldn't you be doing something right now? Does the sheriff's office you work for have a canine unit? Yes, they do. A very good one. Multiple variations of canine unit. They've got the bite dogs, the narcotics dogs, all that stuff. Tuesday, most dead night of the week. That's what I said, but it's Gonky. Gonky and the missus. He's got to get everything approved. Is the T6 getting replaced soon? No. Is the PC-21 a great successor? Yes. I love the PC-21. And I just discovered it at the last episode when I Googled it while we were talking about the guy's question. That is an amazing aircraft. Yeah, I'd love to fly that thing. Can you get Pilatus to send me one? Like if Thrustmaster can send me a throttle, I feel like maybe a PC-21, maybe Leonardo can send me a AW139 for, a while to borrow. Stranger things have happened. Make them tell you no. Do you have space for a guy in back? You have space for a dog. Yeah. You can dodge a wrench. You can dodge a ball. Much rather watch the Movie Gronky show than football. We could do like Peyton and his brother and watch football while we do the show. Have you thought about flying historical aircraft like P-51s and displays? I'd love to, but I don't know anybody. I don't have access to those kind of things around here. Have you flown with the stink bug? No, I've not, but I would. And we had Skid was on the channel. He flew the stink bug. Didn't Casmo put a show on Tuesday? Yeah, that's a good point. We don't want a conflict there. It's a lot of crossover. I think Wednesday might be best. Nerd question. What sci-fi fighter, not a fighter, because I think in space, the fighter thing, the Rocinante. I'd fly that thing. That thing's awesome. What's your favorite call to respond to in law enforcement? Dale's watching it. Signal 18s. No, I don't know if there's a favorite. Anytime you can help somebody, that's really the best call, where you know you're going to get there and help somebody and end up making a difference. Whether that's helping somebody on the side of the road, helping somebody in a crash, helping somebody not make the wrong decision. We talk about don't make a temporary problem permanent, but I don't know. Is that thing still stolen? Jeez, man, I'm sorry. That sucks. Do you have any 9/11 stories or interviews? I will never forget that morning. Was active duty. Couldn't remember what a Zulu. No, I don't. Not at the moment. Is no, no, it's not. No. And when we finally tell that story, you'll understand why. At the moment, that is impossible, but it's possible if things change. That was a letdown. I'm sorry. I don't know what I'm so far behind. Would you let Jordan Taylor drive your vet with you as a passenger around Road Atlanta? No. Absolutely not. Who is your ISP? Wow, these are some pointed questions. You're not going to hack me, are you? It's Charter. At the new Air Force Reserve gig, do you wear a flight suit even if you aren't flying? So far, yes, and nobody's told me not to, although I do have OCPs. I just bought them too, and I'm scared to wear them because I've never worn OCPs, and I don't want people that are professional military folks to be like, hey, dude, you're wearing the patches on the wrong side, or you're not wearing this right. Can you elaborate on your findings on pilot hopefuls with ADHD, those with childhood diagnosis? Because most of the things I found on the internet are grim. It seems like the FAA is outdated. If you email me, I can put you in touch with a flight doc that can maybe get a better answer. Either the mailbag, mover mailbag at cwlemoyne.com or cwlemoyne at cwlemoyne.com. I am not qualified to answer that question. Wombat says, go buy all of Mover's books. I'm not allowed to say that, but yes, that would probably help. Probably help a lot. Oh, we already did that one. Just catching up, man. You mean, I'm not going to say that. Here's what I'll say. A lot of I'm taking that off because I don't want to start a war here with anybody. A lot of people want to be first. And I think it's cool to obviously I think what we do is okay because otherwise I wouldn't do it. But I think when it comes out saying, hey, this happened, can't wait, we'll wait and see what the AIB says. It looked bad. I think that's fine. I think where you run into trouble is where you start like the BCSO, the Broward County helicopter. Like if you sat there and frame by frame and got the flight aware data and you started saying, okay, well, he was here and then this has happened and here's just radio call. you know, you muddy the waters and give the professionals an opportunity to do their job. When they put the preliminary report out, you can report on that. When they put the final report out, you can report on that. And that comes from just my training and experience, right? Just in the military in general, I lost a friend. I lost a very good friend in the B course. I've talked about this on the channel, F-16 mishap, and he G-locked and um, hit the ground. And I was out doing a snack overrun, and they locked us into the squadron because they didn't want word to get out to the families before they, number one, knew what was going on, and number two, had the opportunity to notify the family, professionally and the right way to do it. And that when you start trying to be first, you risk hey, somebody else is finding out the wrong way. That's number one. Number two, when you start speculating, it's a law of primacy, right? Especially if you're wrong. If you go and speculate and say, this is what I think happened, and then more information eventually comes out, people don't remember the corrected record. They remember what you said the first time, and it becomes the meme theory. It just becomes wrong. So to me, instead of being wrong, it's, you cover what happens. You ask questions. You go, hey, this is what I'm thinking. But you don't try to draw conclusions. You don't try to lay blame. You just go, hey, this is what I'm thinking about. And then that's it. And I'm not saying any channel does this. I don't want to get any wars or fights or whatever. This is just my personal opinion. You can ask the questions, but at the end of the day, let the professionals draw the conclusions. And then once that data comes out, we call it the truth data, then you can say, okay, well, I agree with them. I disagree with them. Here's some more information. Here's what I think. Whatever. But just give it time. I know we live in an instant society. We always have to have everything immediately, and that's what gets views and clicks. But sometimes the professional thing to do is to go, hey, let's wait. That's all. Radial Turbo says at a Ukrainian air show, Su-27 struck straight into the crowd. Yep. Wombat stealing the show. As always. Wombat, why don't you just join, dude? Hold on. Let me send you this link. See if he'll show up. Wombat shows up. You all have to buy his book. 3 or 4 of his books, actually. I know he only has 2, but you have to buy them twice. How's the air? That's a good question. Wombat, get on here. Let's ask these questions. Andrew says, keep up the content, Mover. Really enjoy it. Thank you, Andrew. Rain Man says, goodbye, beer. I'm going to a place that has a very similar thing. It's just your weekend. That's all. I've recorded 2 things for the DCS. Wags would know. I'm not sure. Go buy both the books. Yeah. Matt says, great channel. Simple question. What is the worst advice you've ever been given? Worst advice you've ever been given. Oh my gosh. I'll have to phone a friend, take a rain check. I don't know. I've gotten a lot of bad advice. I've gotten some bad advice, and I've given some bad advice too. Yeah. Shout out for Rocinante, legitimate salvage. Isn't it cool? I never read the books, but I watched the show and I really liked it. All right, Justin says, going off the Lieutenant Colonel question, the idea of being in a squadron leadership position scare you, or did you always feel prepared as an officer? That didn't scare me. PME scared me because it's for nerds. That's all there is to it. It's nerdy. Right? Has nothing to do with. Anyway, views are my own and don't represent. Where's the banner? Yeah, there you go. There's the banner. Because I don't get fired again. Laura says, here we go. I don't think Call of Duty was made for an audience to know stuff about stuff. For a different audience, it could be okay. I don't think so. That was maybe. Yeah. Good answers to rough questions, except for the worst advice thing, man. You guys caught me off guard on that one. Mover with the buzzer beater fade away from the win. Yeah, I don't know about that. Hey, Mover, if there's a shortage of military pilots, why was it so hard for you to get another flying gig? That story will come out eventually. Before that, though, it was difficult because institutionally, the system is not designed to help people. And so when the mission changed, there was a lot of lip service to helping, but there wasn't a lot of action. So, and also, too, you got to think in the reserves and guard, the shortage is usually full time, not part time, because when the airlines are doing well, part time positions dry up, full time positions are wide open. Well, I don't want to go do a full time job or full time like AGR and art. So that kind of limits the opportunity, especially when there's no openings. And I wasn't current qualified. And look, Wombat showed. I knew he was going to show up.
Come on,
Wombat.
What's
Photo
happening?
bombing. Hey, man, you make this finally interesting at the 51-minute mark. I should have told you. I figured you were busy.
I was. I didn't know you were on, so I saw you on, so I figured out. I signed up for a YouTube just so I could troll your chat.
See, look at that, man. Check that out. I got
Dude, that's awesome.
And I got that.
I got nothing. I got nothing. Nobody gives me anything.
But anyway, hey man, let me catch up real quick, and then
sorry,
you can help as well. This is for you actually, because they don't have the E2.
That's people think I don't do DCS because there's no E2. I don't do DCS because I don't do DCS. I'd love to. I don't have a sub.
I think if you did DCS, we'd never see you because that's all you'd be doing. I think it would just be so addictive.
Probably.
Yeah. Your provoking thought, Nathan says for provoking the thoughts. Critiques are fine. Asking questions is a lot of that. Asking questions, that is. I mean, it's potato. I just think you need. We're talking about the MiG-23 thing. By the way, all right. Dude. What is your take? Because you weren't there. And by the way, sorry, our guest. I don't know if you heard, if you watched Monday, but we were going to have Shanghai on, and Shanghai's condo was broken into, and his whole setup was stolen the day of. And he was like trying to go across town and stuff. And I said, look, dude, it ain't that big of a deal. We're not that important. So it just became me and Gonky. But we looked at the interview, and I know you've seen it because I've sent you the link of the MiG-23 observer in the back seat. What is Wombat's take?
It's a good question. Thank you for having me. I think it's too early to tell. I have more questions. I'm not a MiG-23 expert, obviously. I'm barely any of the planes I flew expert, but it's a head scratcher, man. Like things aren't adding up to me. And look, plenty of times in my career, things have not added up to me, and that's fine. But just something just seems off. Like I flew single engine. You flew single engine. Correct. I didn't even know the MiG-23 was single engine. So that should tell you how much I know.
I didn't either. When they said that, I'm like, I thought I had two of them.
But I asked. I try. God help me. I'm trying to grow as an individual to not be so quick minded and come up with my own opinions, and I try to look at the bigger picture, but I just don't get it. I mean, the question I asked you was, well, were the wings back, swept back Tomcat style? Is that what caused it? Right. Cause maybe at that altitude, if the wings were stuck back, sure. I mean, that thing's a Delta dart. Right. But then you told me they were full forward and things like that. I'm just like,
they moved them forward after.
Yeah. So I'm confused, but I've never flown a plane that has variable wings and geometry like that. And I mean, I did fly the T-37, not that has variable wings, but did not have a fantastic ejection seat. So that was in my mind. So I don't know how the ejection seat factors into this whole thing. I mean, the Hornet and the Viper, I'm assuming, was 0-0, right? I mean,
yeah, but the T-38A was not.
Neither was T-37, right? I mean, T-37 was essentially a giant rubber band, is the way they described it to me.
Yeah.
And then they all laughed because they were like, your fat ass isn't going to clear the tail. And we chuckled, and then I went flying anyway. But that's a whole other story. So I don't know. I don't know enough about it to really give a good – I hope to God they did the right thing. Like, I want them to have done the right thing because air shows are huge and it brings so much to the aviation community and all that. But right now, it doesn't feel like maybe they did. But again, like you've mentioned and Gonki's mentioned, like I hate to I hate to make that judgment because we don't know yet. We may never 100% know, right? I mean,
you're right. So it's going to be
So-
if the narrative is as it stands, right, which we don't know what the front seater says, and that's what I have. Like, this is what I'm standing on the rooftop saying is one person's story does not a conclusion make.
correct.
Like when I go do an investigation for anything
Correct.
and there's multiple parties, you don't stop at the first person that says, well, I did this, because it doesn't matter how if they're convincing, it makes me want to even talk to more people because I want to verify. I want to make sure that it correlates. I'm not saying the dude is wrong. I'm not saying he's bad. I'm just saying that the more convincing someone is, the more it's like, well, okay, let's go see what everybody else says to make sure, because this is a scenario. There's no flight data recorder. There's no cockpit voice recorder. There's no VTR. There's no tapes. There's no nothing. It is going to be, and I'm more than likely going to guess that the engine's probably destroyed beyond, like, it's going to be, here's what he said. Here's what he said. We looked at the data and here's what the probable cause.
Can I throw another thing that, and I just thought as you're talking, and please I don't want any of your viewers to be like, Wombat's a prick and he's on. Look, I will humble pie. Well, no, not for this, not for this,
okay.
not for what I'm about to say. For everything else,
gotcha.
You typically talk about mishaps that are military related, etc. Right?
Yeah. And fatal.
Yeah. One key difference: every airplane you flew in the military, every airplane I flew in the military, we didn't own it. Correct. Is there a factor to the story or to the narrative of this that is important because there's an insurance payout on this aircraft, and because maybe if it wasn't done right, but
if it was what I'm getting at? If it was insured, I mean, a lot of those are liability only. Do you bring up a good point? And I didn't think about this until like just now. Now, granted, I was 20 something when this happened, but I owned a Glasair. I owned a Glasair 1RG. Nice. And one day, going into New Orleans at the AMA Airport little grass strip, I had the gear not come down. And I went around and I had the discussion on tower frequency, because we're on MSY tower, about find me some grass because I'm going to put this thing down, because I wanted to save my own airplane. I didn't care about me. I wanted to save my airplane. And I remember, like, you talk about core memories. I remember one of the airline guys goes, "Take the runway, kid." Like literally over, whatever. Cause I'm sitting here going, well, how smooth is the grass? Can I just put it down in the grass?
Sure.
And I mean, that was absolutely correct. It was because if I'd have gone down the grass, with unsafe indications, I'd have cartwheeled and, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now.
No Monday with movers. That's a fact.
I'm not saying that that's what this guy did, but I will, as a previous aircraft owner, there is some level of, it's my baby. I'm going to preserve it. So, and I do agree with people that said he might have been task saturated. I mean, not might. He was task saturated.
Of course.
He might have been overwhelmed. Like, I don't think he was, because the dude was an A6, 777 captain, all that stuff, but he's not immune from it either. Oh, so it is very possible that the dude saved the day. It is equally possible that he didn't. Before we say, here's your trophy, I would like to hear what the guy was working, because there were a couple things where he's like, yeah, I saw him move the throttle. Well, that tells me you guys aren't talking. That tells me there's no like CRM communication. Like, hey, I've got this. I'm seeing this. Roger, I see that. Like, there's no CRM back and forth. It's one way. It's put the flaps down. I still don't understand flaps full. Gonki and I have talked about that, where that gives you all the drag. I would only go flaps full if I'm like, hey, and that's me, because I don't know the MiG-23, but flaps full is usually your landing configuration, which tells you all the drag so that you can land. The only time I'd want all the drag is if I've already given up on the aircraft and I want to, minimize my sink rate, slow it down, make it a good ejection. But it didn't sound like they were at that point. It sounded like the front seater was still like, hey, I see, I'm coming left for the apartments. So I don't know. we're going to have to wait.
There's more to it. I mean, that's my take on it. There's just more to it, and I hate to speculate. I mean, we all speculate because, especially when you're in the industry, you put yourself in that role. What would I do? And the bottom line is, anybody. Well, you do. I mean, the good people want to learn. A lot of people want to Monday morning quarterback it, but it's interesting because it's like, well, how did we get there? What can we take away from it? What can I then put in my bag of tricks for later on, teaching people stuff like that?
Right.
So yeah, there's a lot of
it's a crew thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, as you're talking about, hey, they weren't communicating. Well, geez, man, if the engine failed, did they lose communication? Is that I don't know how.
No, because they didn't, because he talks about, he heard him say something, but he didn't know what he said back. So he's like, I don't remember or whatever. And, we just don't know. It's very fascinating because it has become drama. If this guy had not done the interview, I don't think that this would be this big of a deal right now.
No.
Because if he didn't, and the NTSB came out in 2 years, it's a news cycle. It'd be forgotten about in a couple of weeks.
100%.
So, but again, I know guys that know him. I mean, the S211 guys were the guys that were going to do fights on. So it's a small community, and they're like, hey, he's a good dude, man. He's a great pilot. So, this is not personal whatsoever. Anyway, let's get a couple, because I get behind, so to speak. Dan says, have you had a chance to employ the bottle breacher? No, but it is awesome. I've got it.
Wait, somebody else got you a bottle breacher? How have you not gotten one of my bottle breachers?
Because this predates that. Gonky and I got this a long time ago, before you had that. Do donates on the Mover Gonky show get donated to Folds of Honor? I mean, not unless we do a Folds of Honor thing. Are you talking the one on Gonky's channel? Yeah, he's got the Folds of Honor. I have not put up a Folds of Honor banner for a while, and I'm going to leave it at that.
You got to make some money, dude. This is your time. So,
well, no, it's not about that. That doesn't take away from your money at all. I'm just
I don't know what I'm talking about. What the hell? So,
is the Super Hornet superior than? I'm sure it is. I mean, it's got a better radar, and
there's nothing super about a Super Hornet. That's the fact. Period.
Did you watch the Daytona flip? I did, and it made me sad looking at it. It looked like Days of Thunder.
Ooh.
Yeah. Skunder says, would you recommend someone getting their PPL before applying? If you can afford it, yes. I think it'll help you. Navy too. Oh, Miss Tizzo and I interviewed Blaney and Truex in New Hampshire. Good for you. That's awesome. Okay, we need to know who you don't like in NASCAR. Oh, my God. No, I don't want to do that. 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 You can answer this one, Wombat. How often have Hornet pilots used the G limiter override in air-to-air combat? Zero, because it's never been an air-to-air combat.
True, but even in practice, it's zero. I mean, I told the story on your channel where I almost hit the ground and didn't use it. It's not something that we would use because, I mean, if nothing else, unless I thought I was going to die, and even when I did, I didn't use it because my conscious thought was, if I pull this, I'm going to over-G the plane and get in trouble.
And that's a consideration. When I did the mishap review of the guy in Lakenheath that went into the water, very sad. There was the discussion about him only pulling to 8.5, even though he could have gone 9, 10, whatever, because there's no limiter, because of the fear of, I don't want to over-G this jet. Yeah. That pilots, we get into that. I want to preserve the aircraft because I don't want to get in trouble.
Sure.
Sometime to our own detriment.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Wombat, what bomber would you like to? I think it's pretty easy.
What bomber?
F-15E Strike Eagle.
No. So here's one I just taught a guy yesterday.
I just wanted to trigger people calling the B-15E a bomber.
Dude, check this out. I thought this was super interesting, and I'll answer this in a second, but I just taught a guy who his Air Force career was Block 50 F-16s, new hire for us. Nice. Block 50 F-16s. Yeah, that's what he said. Seed mission.
Yeah.
Which I was like, ooh, okay.
Suppression of enemy air defenses. Go on.
Then he did the B-2.
Ugh.
Well, but it was interesting it's because it's a bomber question, dude. I'm not. And then he flew T-38As in
right, because they do that.
Langley.
Then he went to AD Air. Yeah, well, I mean, he's qualified, so he might as well.
Yeah. His talks about the B2 were super interesting. Like we almost ran out of sim time because I was busy talking to him about the B2.
Did he have like a 40-hour mission or something stupid?
36.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I'm like, and he goes, we would come back feet wet after being airborne for 28 hours, and you still had to refuel like 5 or 6 times. Yeah, and I'm like, oh, dude.
That takes years off your life, dude. That's
I was like, hey, when are you upgrading the wide body, bro? Like,
yeah,
16-hour flight's nothing.
It's worse than being a FedEx guy. You die at 30 years old.
Oh, yeah. But it was really, it was interesting talk.
Anyway. What do you think about the poop?
I mean, it happens, right? It happens.
It does not happen, dude. How? How does it happen?
Have you not eaten in an airport lately?
Not to the point that I can't hold it for 20 feet and then get it all over the entire cabin in a wide body aircraft.
Well, okay. From what I understand, and I don't know the whole story,
but
it was a passenger, correct? Yeah. It was not a crew member.
No, it was not a crew member.
I can't speak to the general population of this world. I mean, there's some.
Why do fighter pilots perform carrier brakes? Because it's awesome.
We're better. Yeah, we're better.
Well, also because you get more aircraft on the ground sequenced faster. You get them back.
And it keeps you closer to the field and out of the threat window.
Correct.
But mainly the number one reason is because it's better.
Because we're fighter pilots and not tanker pilots or heavy pilots.
For sure.
Wombat, you can talk about this. First rule of CrossFit Club is you have to tell everybody you're doing CrossFit.
CrossFit, bro.
You do WODs and stuff. Of course it's CrossFit.
I don't.
What do? You throw things up in the air? You lift heavy things and move them from one place to another?
Right now, my primary lifting routine is from RP Strength, if I can plug them. They're very well known. My wife loves their programming, so I use their programming. I dig it, and then I supplement it with cardio either on the bike or the bike erg or the rower. That's my primary.
Okay.
So, and it's been working.
I had a guy comment the other day that I was starting to look soft. I still work out the same amount.
Dude, get hard. Get hard. You're getting older.
I feel like that's 40, a different channel. I feel like that's a different channel.
I feel like you could. But that's what I like. I like RP. RP is a big. It's my go-to. I'm a big fan.
Wombat, bring back the poop chair.
So can we do this? Let's do an auction for some charity. I'll do it for Wake for Warriors. I'll do it for whatever you want. But let's do an auction. I have 2 of them.
Hey, you gonna come down in November and race with me?
New Orleans? Well, where? I don't know.
New Orleans. Nouvelle Orleans. Battle Scarred Motorsports, dude.
Oh, you're doing it again down there?
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
We'll talk.
Yeah. Have you ever thought about flying for CBP? Yes. So that's why I live here. So when I moved here, first of all, we had a guy flying for CBP at the Makos. Coolest guy. He was like my idol because he would show up in his tan flight suit with a CBP badge and a duty belt and a gun. And, he'd be like, hey man, I just shot at some drug smugglers. I'm about to go fly the F-16. I'm like, that's awesome, dude. And then when I moved here, I went over and interviewed. Well, I didn't interview, but I rushed the Hammond branch because I'm like, hey guys, know people. And they're like, if you can get through USA Jobs, you're hired. And it was about that time, a certain president wasn't a big fan of the whole CBP mission. And so they ran out of money. And instead of everybody gets dual rated if you want to, they said, hey, you have to be dual rated, which I wasn't. So I never could get through the process. And now they're desperate. And now I'm dual rated, but now I don't want to do it. So there you go. That's how it is. Encounter a bank of cumulogranite clouds. I like that. Yep. Do I need to worry about getting any dental work as a non-military pilot? Not unless it goes bad. Yeah. Having an air bubble. Yeah. Not unless it doesn't work out very well. How did your first time go with flying for an airline, Wombat?
Mine's been fine. They haven't fired me yet. This close. I'm just kidding. I like it. I mean, there's pros and cons, but I don't mind it.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of that.
I tell people it's the best part-time job for full-time pay.
Yeah, you also work for an airline that doesn't hate its people.
Allegedly, yes, that is true.
Allegedly, yeah. Why isn't Matt's? Oh, that's how far behind. PME is professional military education. It's basically graduate level work to pretend like you care enough to write a paper to say that the military is great, and then they use that, promote you. They will not promote you without it. Where can I fly a fighter jet as a civilian? The test pilot school.
There's companies too, right?
There's a company out. Well, so they've changed that P-51 outfit out in Florida. There was a whole big thing about it, and because the reason I know this is because we were doing the fights on thing. We've researched all this. I don't know if they've changed it since then, but you have to be a private pilot. You have to be eligible to take the training for the type rating in order to fly it. You can't just be a passenger off the street anymore for experimental aircraft. So there's that part. But there are places in New Mexico that like MiG-21, L-39, S-211, Victory Aviation up in Dallas. The S-211, actually the Mark Ruff guy would fly for him. So does Scott Purdue. So
I want to fly in a jet again.
Me too. Whether or not every time I apply for a job and get shot down, it makes me sad.
I don't want a job doing it. I just want to go screw around in the air.
Whether or not I get a pilot slot at the OTS board, I've grown a lot during this journey and owe it a lot of thanks. Shots. I have not heard Shots on this channel in a while, but Shots is good people. That was a good interview. But you, Wombat, thank you for what you do. Glenn says I'm a handsome feller, even though I'm soft. Do the proceeds from the Mover and Gonky show go to Folds and the Gonky Internet Fund? Gonky his internet is amazing. Done.
That joke's old. We got to stop with that joke.
Yeah, his internet is so fixed now. His audio sounds good. His lighting maybe needs a little bit of work.
I need to work on that too, but I'm too lazy.
Wombat. Hold on.
F-150 primarily, if we're being honest.
Hold on. There it is. Author of Treason Flight, Vengeance Flight. Had to switch for a second. Here we go. Yeah. He is the man with Mustang. Wombat needs a hug, is what they're saying.
True.
Show Luna.
It's been a long day today.
Yeah. Sorry. Did you get up early?
No, just been a long day at work. That's all I'll say.
Wombat, are you wearing bands?
As far as you know.
Are you making progress on the sci-fi novel? So yes, I'm actually. So I decided this the other day. It's 65,000 words, which not many people will understand that except Wombat because.
Yeah, that's good.
And I realized I'm probably 20 to 30 chapters away from any kind of resolution from this story.
Wow. So that's a lot more.
So I was like, dude, has to be a series. It has to be. Like I have a stopping point, and we're gonna have to get there, and then make it like The Expanse because I'm building a universe that you can't do. Sci-fi is too hard to write in a short book. So here's the question, Wombat. You know, when I first wrote Spectre Rising, and then when I wrote Absolute Vengeance, I thought about traditional publishing, and should I try it again?
Is that your question?
That is my question. Should I try to get a publishing company to publish my book so I can be a real author?
You are a real author.
A really real author. One that's respected by Strike Fatron 204 members. Or at least the writers of the Strike Fatron 204. So they'll talk to me again.
My personal opinion on that?
Sure.
Who gives a crap about people that don't respect you for what you've done?
I loved what you did. Was it you that retweeted Dale Starks about the "You're not a real author," or did I send that to you? Where somebody was talking about traditional publishing or whatever, and he's like, "You've already sold 10,000 copies, and that's more."
Oh, yeah, I retweeted that.
Yeah.
It's the truth. I mean, it's the truth. Like, I don't look. The people that follow me.
Yeah.
The people that like what I have to say and like my message, that's who I do it for. I don't care about somebody who is so focused on one way of doing something. It's the only way of doing something. Anybody who's watched anything I've done knows that my way, my career, my 44 years on this planet is
non-standard.
It's 100% non-standard. So why am I so concerned about somebody else to try to become standard? Screw that. Because here's the reality of life. 99% of the world is non-standard. It doesn't work out for people. And I think people respect it more when they see you being authentic and truth. I just had a long discussion with somebody who's going to help remarket my website and make
Oh, yeah.
direct buying and look more professional. And I said, the number one thing I care about is you cannot take away the authenticity of who I am. I go, because I will take that website down. I don't care how good it looks. I don't care how efficient it is. I don't care how well it brings merchandise or books to the people. It has to authentically be me. So you are you. Like, who cares if some wannabe or even real traditional author is like, Mover's nothing. I mean, how many books did he write? A dozen? Yeah, basically a dozen. You wrote one. I'm not interested. I don't, if people don't understand that there are different ways to get to different end goals and people have different priorities in life, I have no time for them. Zero. So respect what you do. I respect your process. I respect all the work you've done on this channel. So short answer, no, dude, do what works for you, because that's all that matters at the end of the day.
Yeah. All right. Well, I also think that the traditional publishing
Don't trigger
is
me.
dying.
I wasn't expecting to be on this.
Well, here you go. Here's Gavin saying that Wombat is a Womobbed.
I am not
certified badass mofo. And then Conrad says special guest. Is that a viper? Conrad flies a viper.
Nice.
The viper.
The viper. The viper.
Nope, funny. Not really. I think you can hold a private with a night limitations. I don't know. Oh, he's talking about somebody else. Okay, sorry.
I'm not even sure.
Yeah. Don't fly off the handle just to be first. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, talking about the guy before. The other thing I'll add about the writing too, Mover, that I think is important is, like, every one of your books, because I've read them all multiple times, and you know that.
Thank you.
I love your story because it's your story. Nobody changed your story. Now, while you had editors that kind of tweak things and do things, so
they do not. Better. No.
It's
just grammar, dude. Nobody has ever changed my story.
That's what I mean. So you've had editors that do that stuff, right? That, I think, just makes your product look more professional, right? But the story's yours. And you and I both know there are plenty of people out there. Now, some of them are very, very, very successful, lucrative, what the average American would consider
rich,
maybe successful authors, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll read their story, and it just feels like the watered down same thing, like the same cookie cutter approach. Your stories aren't that way. I don't think my stories are that way, but it's hard for me to say because I'm a little too close. And that's the thing, is when that is what's going to bother you the most if you try to go traditional, is that somebody's going to want to change something about what you've written, and you're too passionate about what you do.
No, that happened. That happened. I had, I'll tell you, so absolute vengeance. I had somebody, that book has been through so much. Because I wrote it to be traditionally published. I'm like, I'm going to write a throwaway, quote unquote. It's not going to be tied necessarily to the Spectre series. It's not going to be tied to the whole universe. I want it to be separate and different so that anybody can pick it up. You don't have to know anything. And so a friend of mine, producer, got me a meeting with an agent, and he said, okay, I'll be your agent. And then he sent me his notes. And the first thing he said was, Odin has racist overtones. You need to take out all of the Odin stuff. And I said,
that was the whole premise of the book.
It's a Norse mythology, and that's the whole thing. And he's like, no, you got to take it out because nobody's going to say, okay, well, no. And then same producer, right, says, hey, I got you a director. We're going to make a movie out of this. And I'm like, oh my God, yes, that's awesome.
It's happening. Wait. Yeah.
I flew out to Hollywood, Beverly Hills, had lunch with them. So they're like, yep, this was like around this time, like August, September. And dude, I was like cloud nine, right? This is 2017. Sure. And so they're like, we're going to start filming in the fall, or sorry, the spring. Like we're going to go. And the director, Turkish guy, actually, he was very big in Turkey. And so
like in the country, not the animal.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Well, just so we're clear,
he's not a turkey enthusiast. He's a Turkish director.
It's 2023 now, man. People have their thing.
Well, it wasn't back then. And so the producer on spec had their screenwriter write it. And I've told you this before. I probably told the story. every page in a screenplay is 1 minute. He wrote, I want to say it was about 30 or 40 pages in 6 months. And I said, when we first started this, I said, look, Alex Shepard, it's important to me for one reason. I mean, it's law enforcement, right? I do that.
Sure.
I said, what I don't want to see in anything that has my name attached to it, don't be racist, don't be anti-American, don't be anti-cop, don't be anti-military. That's it. Just stay within these guardrails. That's all. He broke all of them in the 30 or 40 pages that he wrote.
Wow.
He had, the cops beating up, people with billy clubs, talking about giving them an education and all this stuff. He had racist veterans yelling at the TV about a terror attack and the Middle Easterners and making racist statements like that. He also had the chase scene with the school bus. Alex Shepard was then in the passenger seat of this Tahoe, and the Tahoe had a sunroof, and he's standing through the sunroof, popping off rounds at the terrorist as they're running away.
That's realistic.
I thought so, because I was like, where'd the light bar go? And
it's fine.
What?
No, don't let details get in the way of a good story.
So I said, this is probably not going to work out. And I rewrote it. I wrote it and said, here you go. Here's 120 pages, because that's 2 hours. Let's just go with this and shit can that other guy. And they said, no, we don't think so. And then, unfortunately, the actual director, who's actually a really good guy, I like him. I thought he had a good vision. He had some family issues. All the stuff happened in Turkey where they were going after his family members and stuff. Like, it was real bad. So it never worked out. But that is kind of what happens when you start getting into the system, is that people start changing things and you're like, where the hell? It becomes mover ruins movies. Like, I was ruining my own screenplay. I'm like,
you're like, this is going to be great YouTube content, but that's not my goal here.
This is before it even came out. I'm like, ooh, a sunroof?
So I think that answers that answers your question.
I know. It just would have been cool to be like, but also I don't want to have to go to conventions. Like, I know our mutual friend that's doing all this stuff, and I'm just like, that sounds, I don't want to meet another author.
Well,
I don't care about other authors.
So this is on that note, I'm not just talking about me, although
of course,
like that award that I won, right?
Like Highlander for Academy Award for the best movie ever.
The whatever that award.
Best thriller. Right? You won the best thriller award.
Yeah, and so they tell you, they go, hey, do you want to come down to the award ceremony in Miami in November? And I'm like, wow, like
yeah.
So I look at their website and I was like looking at the pictures, read all the descriptions. I'm like, wow, award ceremony. And my wife comes in and looks at it and she goes, yeah, if you want to go, go. And I'm like, wait a second. Look through some more pictures. I don't want to do this. I'm like, just give the award. Like,
I'll see you over there. All right.
These are my people. I'll come on with you. I'll show you the award. I'll go cool and I'll go.
If we can do it via Skype, that's fine.
Conrad's like,
he says, I have a chance to be in the MiG-23 cockpit a few times, and you are all right. SA in that place is awful, especially in the backseat. You see literally enough. I love people arguing with me, and I'm like, God, Wombat, you spent a lot of time in the backseat of a T-45, right? If you took away all the front and all you had, you were sitting below the canopy rail, and all you had was your peripheral vision, do you think you'd have a whole lot of SA back there?
No. I barely had a whole lot of SA with what I had.
Exactly. Exactly. Like, no. I think people underestimate just how important it is. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're a better man than I, if, yeah.
Yeah, it's, no.
Let's see. Engine is mostly fine. So, okay, there you go. Once they inspect it, they'll figure it out. That's good. Good.
Then that'll be answers, and then we can talk about it.
Wombat, I would buy 100% buy a DCS Hawkeye. Dude, you know what? Why don't you employ somebody? That's your next business idea, dude.
I thought my next business idea was getting a 66 Bronco built on the cheap.
That's not a business. That's an expenditure.
It's a business of me. Dude, I'm all for if somebody wants to make Wombat famous in DCS more than the Air Boss. If I get that recording, then
Mover, have you had a chance to use the bottle breacher? Didn't we talk about that? I put it up. I didn't use.
This is like the
I don't
world's
breach
worst
any
deja
bottles,
vu.
but I do appreciate it, and I do use it as I've used it as decoration because it's awesome.
Yeah, they're really good. Bottle Breacher's a really good company, like big time, big fan.
Oh, had a few forced landings one year in I-12 in 2021. I remember that. Yeah, I remember that.
It's not making me want to get into civilian aviation.
Yeah, chat. Tell aviation. Wombat what he should buy. He's going to buy an airplane now.
Well, it's funny. There's a you'll get to the comment. There's a question about. I didn't read the whole thing, so it scrolled up, but it. Anyway, I don't know if I said that.
I just said it.
No. That last comment. I don't know if I said that the pilot was heads down. I'm not sure about that comment.
Well, I'm not sure about it either. I agree. Wombat pilot was heads down because number one, that's facts, not in evidence. We don't know. We don't know what the pilot knew. We don't know what the pilot saw. We don't know what he perceived. He could have been like, I know with my training and experience that this motor is about to come back. You know, sure. I've got this.
Yeah. So I don't, if I did say something like that, I apologize because I'm not taking either side on this. I think there needs to be more room. Sorry. Needs to be more room, more information.
Did you get a new mic? Where'd you get that thing? Sticking up like a.
No, I think I'm sitting lower. I was not prepared.
I mean, you look a lot like Gonky now. Thanks. You need to get headphones, dude, because if you do that, you can hear yourself talk. And I really like hearing myself talk because then I sound like Batman.
Good. That's what I need. I was just thinking today on the way home from work, I need to figure out a way to sound more like Batman. So
John is correct. John is correct.
Yep.
All comments, interviews, and statements can be used against him or the pilot.
Correct. 100%.
I just wouldn't be talking about it. How tall is Wombat?
6'3".
Are you really?
Yeah.
You're a big dude.
Thanks.
Yeah, so to speak.
Mm.
A lawsuit of opinions. No, it's not a lawsuit of opinions. It's a lawsuit of, I mean, did you just ejected somebody? If there's any cause found, the statements made, I just hang out. You know, that's all. It's not the opinions that are the problem. It's the culpability in the eventual loss that lawyers love.
No, dude. 100%.
Here you go. John actually explained. Investigation is still open. NTSB investigators do have the internet and can use conflicting statements. And then the insurance company, and then, you know, because I think that guy with the truck that was lost, his insurance wouldn't cover it. So, you know, that's going to be a thing. Yeah. I don't know. I don't want to get involved in this.
Yeah, I feel bad. I mean, I feel bad. Let's let all the information get out, and then we'll go from there.
I can't say that what disability. I mean, I know there are disabilities, but shouldn't you have some kind of? I mean, you'd have a diaper.
That's bad. I mean, it was bad. I've heard about it. That's so much. I mean, something was wrong with the person. I mean, something. I feel bad. I hope they're okay. But
Gonky needs to start an OnlyFans and reveal his call sign, and then his OnlyFans gets shut down.
Yeah, no kidding. He would get canceled. You would.
What? Since when? Son of a. I just invited somebody down, man. Son of a. You hurt my feelings. Opening bid for a poop chair. Great show, guy.
It's gonna have to go away. That's not even $2, is it? It's $2 Yerkelschnotz or whatever that is. I don't know what currency that is, but yeah, it's going to be way higher than $2. I'll tell you that. Those chairs are not
cheap. Here we go. C-130, C-17, C-5. Oh, boy.
C-17.
C-130.
C-17 has a stick and a HUD.
Yeah,
you can still pretend you're a fighter pilot.
I have to say the C-130 right now.
Okay.
I don't want to make anybody mad. I'm in for the chair for $2. We're not actually doing that.
No, not yet.
We're not doing that right now. Top Aces flies it. Top Aces has my resume. Top Aces hasn't called me back. You guys dump chemtrails when flying. How much it pays? I've never been paid for my chemtrail dumping, and
No,
I'm a
it's
little
a
mad about that.
shame too. It's really a bummer because on a previous contract, you used to get double pay for your contrail time, but now we negotiated that out, so we don't get paid extra. But that's all a joke, by the way.
Is it a joke though?
Watch the internet blow up. Oh, Wombat knows everything about UFOs and chemtrails.
Yeah, don't do it. Chicks like beards. But the problem is I can't afford more paperwork. Neil says, Neil's my buddy. We used to ride together before he abandoned me. On the sheriff's office. Can I switch to the Ford guy? He wants to be your friend, Wombat.
Yes.
He's always sending me
because I keep losing them.
Like the new dark horse or whatever. He's like, hey man, birthday's coming up. You get me a dark horse. I'm like, first of all, I don't have that kind of money. But second of all, what's a Mustang, dude?
The dark horse is actually a very interesting concept to me that I'm interested. I kind of want to test drive one. I wouldn't trade the Shelby for it, but it's interesting. You know, Ford's kind of going with a unique thing there where it's kind of and they do this all the time because they don't run the Shelby all the time, right? So it's very limited years that they run a Shelby, and they currently don't have a Shelby, and they're probably not.
Let me ask you.
They may never do another one, but I don't know.
Does it say Mustang on the window sticker?
No.
Are you sure?
No, but I'm going to stick with that. I don't think it does. That's a good question. I actually legitimately, and I can look it up because I have the original window sticker in the garage. I don't think it does. Actually, I think it says Shelby. But somebody will chime in. There's window stickers on the internet. So.
Did either of you play aviation-related games as kids? I played Sublogic ATP, Microsoft Flight Sim, Jet Fighter, whatever, all kind of stuff on the computer. But
we did not have video games in my household.
Oh, so you had to go outside?
And we did not have cable TV.
You're like Gen X, so this is normal. You actually played in the street.
We had nothing. I played outside. So,
regarding the MiG-23 at 700 feet AGL at 190 knots, do you think it was controllable? Yes. I mean, it still had inertia to continue for more. If the engine was producing thrust or could produce thrust, yes, 190 knots, I believe so. With the flaps at full, I think it's starting to get into a bad situation. Flaps at half, I think, yeah, sure.
I don't know.
Hey, Wombat, have you ever disclosed the meaning of your call sign?
Yeah, you didn't see that video? Oh, it's out there. No. To the public? No. Of course I didn't. Mover knows, though.
It is a Viper. Conrad, would you like to let me borrow it?
52 plus. How many blocks of Viper are there? Oh, I
They're
love
up to
that
70
blocks.
now. 70. In fact, Lockheed just announced somebody. The Block 70 had rolled off the assembly line for some country.
Like one day we're going to be like, man, the Viper Block 642,000. You're like, what?
Dude,
are we just making up numbers?
It's a good jet that requires more blocks. It's not a bad aircraft.
I never said it's a bad aircraft.
Look,
it just breaks people's necks that fly it for too long. That's all.
Okay, here we go. Here's some book stuff. You can write for the market demographic, or you can write to be your true vision. Only the lucky and famous get to do both without compromise.
I write to my vision, and I found a market.
Not to be a sap, but I would have loved to have someone like Mover and Wombat early in my military career. Would have stayed till retirement. Well, guess what? They don't love to have us.
I wish I had some more of me when I was younger too, but unfortunately.
I love me.
Thank you, Troy. But it's a different world.
There's a reason. You should do a book.
It's not all sunshine and roses. Let's put it that way.
You should do a book club, Wombat.
I might with the new website, maybe. I don't know.
I was telling.
I need a way to get content out there, like on the reg.
Have you read your book since you wrote it?
Yes.
How many times?
Like since it's been published?
Mm-hmm.
Twice for Treason Flight, once for Vengeance Flight, and I've listened to the audiobooks.
I have not read a single of my books since I wrote them.
That's okay.
I couldn't do a good job at a book club because I'd be like, I don't remember that. I'm scared, to be honest with you, dude. I'm scared that I'll cringe and be like, why did I write that? And then try to rewrite. And I don't want to do that.
There's things in Trees in Flight that I wish I had done better, but that's all part of the progression too, right? I mean, that's how you learn. So don't feel bad. Don't be cringe. Again, stay true to yourself.
Hoover, what's your take on First Amendment auditors? Have you had any encounters in law enforcement? I have not. First Amendment auditors sounds like a made-up title, just like the Twitter fact checkers.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
That's the people that they film
I know what
everything.
Twitter fact checkers are.
Because I know my rights. Like, trust me, I love the Constitution. I support constitutional rights. I just think people look for trouble. That's all. They want to provoke.
Correct.
Wombat, if your kid came to you saying he, she, which is correct now, right? You have one of each.
One of each, yes.
Wants to become
they are very
pilot.
Specific in their gender.
Would that make you know? Oh God, we're canceled. Make you happy knowing what you know now?
So this is a very interesting question because I'm living this right now.
Oh, really? They want to be pilots?
My 5-year-old is very interested in it, and that's why I asked you a question about.
I wanted to be a Ghostbuster at 5, but go on.
Well, that's fair.
Still do, actually.
And let's be honest, he has my genes, so he has probably just as good of a chance of being a Ghostbuster as he does a pilot at this point in his life. But
hell yeah,
we're dealing with this, and this is something that I've reached out to people for advice on, because on the one hand, the egotistical part of me is, a little mini version of me that wants to be like me is about as egotistical as you get, right? I mean, that's pretty awesome. On the other hand, I don't want to force him into something to where he's trying to live up to something that is not real. And I also know, for being honest, the garbage that I went through in my military career, and very few people do. I mean, you do, Uber, but so that's tough too, because you want to protect your children. What I've decided is I just will give him the information. And if he makes the decision that it's a career path or a passion he wants to follow, I will do everything in my physical and financial means to give him all the tools I did not have. Not that, I mean, I have great parents, but they just didn't have the financial means to do it. I'll do everything I can, but I'm not going to push him into it. I mean, it's a cool profession, but I joke with him and say, look, you don't have to be paid to be a pilot. Some people have great careers and then they are pilots on the side. So they're not mutually exclusive.
My neighbor just asked me that question. He said, my son's in his 30s and he's thinking about a career change. Should he go be a helicopter pilot? And I said, no.
Yeah, it's late, and it's not as lucrative.
The market is just not there, and you're not going to make the money back that you spend. And by the way, it's more fun when you can do it for yourself,
for fun. Yeah, which I've never done, and I'm kind of, so part of me is a little bit interested in it because
I think you should buy a L-39 or a MiG-29 or something with your advanced.
I'm not a big fan of MiGs right now. Just based on
29, it's 6 more. It's 6 better than the other one, so you're fine.
Better, okay, well, it's at least one more motor better.
Yeah,
the L-39 is super fun because that would be like a T-45 light, right? I mean, kind of.
Yeah, or an S-211 would be like in fact, they paint them to look like the T-45.
Oh, I know the guy who does that.
Do you?
Mm-hmm. I was an instructor with him in Meridian.
Erica says, why would you handle complex issues with realism and nuance when you can rely on poorly thought out, ham-fisted crap?
100% agree.
This is why the channel never gets 1 million views, because we don't ever say, all the stupid stuff that people would like us to say.
Clickbait. Yep.
Yeah. Keep writing, Mover. You're good at it. Thank you. I would love to be able to write. I just start rambling about doctrine and geeking out over weapons tech. Okay. I'm sorry to hear that.
You could write.
Oh.
You
left us hanging with the last page of the Alex Shepard books. When are you going to continue with that? God, that's right.
You have to remember how you left them hanging since you don't read them.
I know how. I got to remember where I was going with that. Is actually what the problem is. So I still don't know why I did that.
You're like, what in the world did I?
What was I thinking? So I did that, and I started writing the Kruger book. Oh, oops. And I started writing a book relative to that.
Nice. Spoiler alert.
And then I got into the sci-fi kick because I started playing Mass Effect again and watching The Expanse. And so now I have to finish this.
You're all over the place. You're all
I
over
love
the
the side, dude. I love it. I love it. I'll have to send you if you want to read it. I'll send you what I got. But yeah,
I'll read anything, dude. You know that. From our little trust tree, I read Gonki's coloring books.
yeah. He hasn't sent me that yet. He's got a actual kids book he's coming out with too, which is another one on my list because I want to have one for Luna the Adventure Dog.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. The Flaming Tea says, just want to say thanks for the mental health minute on the show. Hit hard times and it's helped me a lot. Yep.
There's always somebody out there for you. I don't remember when that happened.
More when the guy broke through the gate and crashed in the Hornet.
I don't remember that happened. I can't remember if I was there and out of town on a debt or if I had moved on from Lamar.
Mover and Wombat, get yourself here and I'll organize a trip for you involving some Russian cockpit visitations. Will those cockpits get airborne?
I don't know where.
Because I've done the petting zoo at Nellis. Well, his name starts with a K. I'm guessing Poland.
Ooh.
That's my guess.
There. I have a lot of Polish in me.
What else? It could be Belgium. No. Do Belgians have Ks? Sorry. I'm now. What is the maximum height? I think it's a sitting height, right? It's not necessarily.
I think there's a max, and then I think there's like the physiological, like the different. But I've known people who are like 6'7". They're pilots.
Hey, Mover, are you selling that shirt? We will be. Like it, Wombat? What do you think, man?
I do. I don't have one yet, which hurts, but
it's on Teespring. You want to tell them, Wombat?
How do we meet?
Yeah, we'll let you know.
Donkey. We'll
let you know.
Is he talking? Is he talking in person or is he talking?
Yeah,
virtually?
We'll let you know. There you go. C-130J has a HUD too, so I can be loyal.
There you go. Have a HUD.
Yep. Oh boy, this is random. Any thoughts on China resuming nuclear testing? I feel like any of this stuff sounds bad to me.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of anybody doing that type of stuff. I like when we all just get along.
Get a shaving waiver.
Is that for your legs or your face?
You don't know.
I don't know. Hey, it's a brave new world we live in. I'm not going to.
Hey, you guys must have like a club. I'm a Mach 1 6-speed driver here. It's better.
So that's interesting too, because I had a GT350 and it was a 2018. And I'm curious about too. I always wanted to drive a Mach 1 because I was like, they seem like good cars. But I would say it's a better street car because the engine's not going to explode like the GT350s and catch on fire like they were doing with that flat plane crank. But yeah, so I think the dark horse definitely has. I'm interested. If a Ford dealership around me was like, "Hey, do you want to take one out?" I would drive it. It's not going to replace the Shelby, but if I'm going to replace the Shelby, it's going to be with something way more expensive. So.
We're getting more. We're getting closer. He said, "I'd love to have one in my garage, but PC didn't allow me to." Cool. Polish?
I don't know.
I hope he answers. It'll be 30 to 45 minutes before I get to his comment, but
you will. Yeah, we'll get.
I hope he answers because I'm super curious. Jag says, "I hope to meet a guy like Wombat when I join up for $2."
Sorry, not the first Jag who is looking to meet me. Trust me. Yikes.
Sarah McKenzie?
No, that is not what the average Jag is like.
Chris says Specterizing and Alex Shepard books would be better as a miniseries than a movie. So
maybe.
I have written it for all of the things. I've written series ideas for both of them. I've written an Alex Shepard movie. So the most recent iteration was an Alex Shepard movie based off of I Am the Sheepdog.
Mm-hmm.
But we had to change the name because the guy didn't like the name of I Am the Sheepdog. He thought it was funny. But
know what that means.
It was a version of I Am the Sheepdog, and I wrote the script, so I knew it wasn't going to be terrible. It varies from, like, it's not one for one. It's not the book, but it's close enough, and certain people would have been good at Alex Shepard's role.
Gotcha.
Sadly, like everything else I do, it is not happening.
Not everything. Come on.
All the cool stuff.
Don't make
all
me
the cool stuff.
One. Come on, man. Come on.
I don't think they're necessary. Body cams kind of make that a moot point.
I don't know what you're talking about. Moving on.
Yeah. Okay. He was talking about the First Amendment auditors.
Oh, gotcha.
Oh, look, these are an Apache,
Stickers.
a dude, and then
Allegedly.
I'm not even going to guess what that last thing is. Money flying helicopter in the fire aviation sector isn't good. Only do it because you love it. Yep. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Oh, here we go. The Mass Effect Expanse sci-fi adventure sounds like the perfect endgame read to purchase within the new Starfield game. Yeah, and then I read the reviews, and a lot of people aren't happy about it. I don't know. I'm scared. I saw that one YouTuber, Jay Brown, lost his lawsuit for giving false No, that wasn't Jay Brown. That was Dan Greider, wasn't it?
I don't know.
I don't care about the drama. Like, why? People send me these things.
People love that stuff, man.
Question for you both. Why did you leave the Navy Air Force? I'm a military aviation historian.
You should be able to tell me then, right?
Well, for me, the Navy, NAMI said, I didn't want to leave. NAMI said, you can't deploy.
Air Force.
No, you can't deploy.
Why'd you leave the Air Force? But I guess you haven't, yeah.
Why did I leave the Air Force the first time? To go to the Navy. I wanted to fly Hornets in New Orleans. I wanted to go home. I mean, I'm from this area. I wanted to be home and fly jets. Why did I leave the Navy? Because the skipper decided that non-deployable meant you couldn't be in a A+ model squadron that was not going to deploy unless the aliens were attacking. And NAMI had given me a non-deployable categorization code because they said, well, your condition might worsen. And the nephrologist is like, for 10 years, like, how long are you going?
Yeah.
What are you going to Mars? And so
it
was either that or get kicked out. And so I found my way back in the Air Force Reserve, and then that is still ongoing. So, Wombat, she just retired. Why'd you retire?
Well, no, I left active duty. I got forced out. So I haven't told the full story. And one day maybe I've thought about this.
That's too deep for a mailbag. Yeah, it's too deep.
But no, I got forced out twice, failed to select 04, and then went to the reserves and immediately selected 04.
Whoa. Breaking news. I'm in. Wait.
Are we stopping the mover mailbag now?
Wait. No. This is reworded. I thought he was saying he has one. He is reminding me.
He's asked for one.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's not. Oh God, I got excited. Gotcha. If I ever got the chance to fly a Viper again, and you can Manchester this, because I'd probably kiss the jet. Might even kiss the ground next to the jet. Might even kiss the crew chief. I don't know, dude. I'd be so happy to see. I feel like it'd be
F-16. Well past kissing at that point in the relationship.
Oh, dude.
There'd be heavy petting.
There'd be tongue.
There'd be heavy petting.
Like, I'd be so excited to see a Viper again and be like, do a flickus bit. Just all the cool stuff. Check the brakes. EPU check and make sure the thing doesn't go off and kill me with the ammonia. All the stuff.
Yeah. Good times.
Yeah, I miss those days. I've had an addition to Viagra for the last couple of years. The hardest time ever. People will tell you things. Wait from OCS to primary is 2 to 3 years. Gosh. From selection to OTS is 10 to 12 months. OTS to UPT is 10 to 12 months. A 25-year-old, can I just forget about TPS? No, you can't forget about it.
Don't forget about crap. Scano.
Don't forget about it. No, do it.
Come on. That's a ridiculous timeline, but don't forget about it.
Oh, we're caught up. He's saying kiss it all.
There you go. We did it. We did it.
Yeah. I comment about playing Captain F-16 in my garage with the answer to your question. Do I have one spare? I know now, but
it's too late.
I mean,
damage has been done. Put that
now
next
I'm just
to the Viagra
sad.
Comment, and Mover's just all losing it now. It's all.
Yeah. I mean, now Nathan's saying, can ever get, dude, let me tell you about this job that came up in New Orleans. It was flying Super Hornets in New Orleans as a contractor. And I was like, because Nathan sent it to me actually. And I was like, dude, yes, apply now. I applied back in June and I have not heard a single word. And so I had a friend reach out and they're like, oh yeah, dude, we had everybody hired before we even
put it out
or posted it.
Perfect.
And then another job came out for another company flying the Mighty Viper. And and also have not heard anything. But I was so excited because I was like, I would go do this job in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat.
Yeah.
All right, we already did the Viagra thing.
Yeah.
There will be tongue. You're damn right.
So much. Much.
Oh, Kate is inspired by that something. Hope it's not that there will be
The
tongue.
heavy petting.
The timing of this is just awkward.
Oh, man.
Can F-16 make a difference in Ukraine with all the aid in area? I don't think anything makes a difference. I think it's a strategic.
No, that's all. It's a strategery.
It's a strategery thing.
Yes.
You're not related to Mace. She's up from Wisconsin.
No, but I respect her and would love her to read my books.
What do you mean, read your books?
Well, I mean, that'd be cool, right? See her opinion. But no, I'm
not. Do you want me to send? I can put you in touch with her.
Sure.
Do you want her to read your books?
My books? I'll send them to her.
Okay, that's fine. Wombat, about your workout, does pushing your Mustang when it breaks down count for leg day? Ooh.
I hope not, because I have very strong legs and my Shelby doesn't break down. So lots of holes in your joke. One, I don't own a Mustang, and two, I barely drive my Shelby. So,
how many miles you got on it?
1,500. Still,
I just hit 5,000 on the ZR1, and I felt like.
When did you buy that?
September or August of 2019. It's one of the last ones.
So I was like December of 2020. So,
yeah. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. Third year space engineering PhD student. So the delays may allow me plenty of time. Just go to space. Go to SpaceX. Go to space. Don't worry about fighters. Just go to space.
Crazy.
Signed up for the Citizens Fire Academy classes in Great Falls, and it's a blast. You got wee woos and lights. What else? Not hired as firefighters, of course. Lots of hands-on, so to speak.
Oh, so it was the heavy betting. Too soon? No.
If Mover isn't a Viper for more than 4 hours, seek a physician. Yeah, you'd have to peel me out of that cockpit. Mm-hmm. So that's the other side is we don't want to do that for more than about an hour.
Yeah.
2 hours, maybe 4 hours. You're pushing it, dude. My back.
It becomes unfun very quickly.
How hard is it to reach the Viper's top speed? Extremely.
Is it?
Well, not 800, but 2.05. You have to do a profile to get that. It's not just
like you zoom in.
It's not. Yeah.
It's cool.
One man, one pedo tube coming to your favorite. Are there even? I don't know. Mustangs, TTF, MF.
But he did. I read earlier. He said he would put me in a drag race car, which I would do that.
Read on, Mover. Inspired to join Citizens Fire Academy. They even issued us our gear, and we will get to hold hoses, rappel, and ride in the truck.
Nice. Good for you, Kate.
Civil Air Patrol is
next, called giving back to something greater than yourself.
This is a sad story. He had his Hellcat.
I know. He's told me all about it, and it bums me out.
Dude, that sucks. Thieves.
Even if it is a Dodge, it makes me feel bad.
Listen, we're simulcasting on the Twitter. I wonder how that's working out. On Facebook. Mark says, drive that thing. It's just a car, and it's just a Mustang. Seriously, sitting.
No, I agree. Really I'll be honest with you. I was actually thinking about it today after my day at work, and I'm like, maybe I want something different.
Did I tell you I gave you 50 for it?
No.
Cash money.
How famous do I have to get before I could sell it as this is TR Matson's Shelby and try to get more money for it?
Dude, I don't know.
Does anybody care? Would it come more on Bring a Trailer if I did that? Probably not. No. I'd be like, who?
Yeah. No.
You mean that washed up Navy pilot? No.
Thank you for looking at opportunities, but do you actually have connections? I need connections at this point in my life. I need somebody that, The Kinzhal can now be launched from an upgraded Sukhoi S-34 SM, which acts like a hypersonic carrier.
Okay. That doesn't sound good for the people on the receiving end.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Triggering intensifies.
All right, dude. I think Shelby. Just kidding.
Wow, dude. Wow.
Just kidding. I'm having a good time. You guys have made my day. I had a rough day at work. I have a lot of things I've got to process, decisions to make.
I don't think I have any. I actually do have a few more. The latest idea. Did you know that Greek boats were used to ram the enemy ships? Can we employ the same technique in the air? I think it would work. As always, I don't claim any ownership for my ideas. Feel free to pass them along. I'm like, no. However, not with actual planes, but drones. There was a video the other day of I think it was a K-52 drone actually suicided itself into it.
Oh.
So, yeah. Anyway, this one's for you, Wombat. I understand your limited commentary on the Ukraine war. One question. If you were serving in the Russian Air Force with the knowledge you have now, you're in charge of a comparable Russian aircraft to the one you had in the Air Force, or Navy in your case. Your order is to complete the mission over Ukraine, either air to air or ground. How do you fancy your chances of success? Would you decline if you thought the suicide mission, given you're up against Stingers and the Patriot, or follow orders and blindly comply? Obviously, wouldn't expect you to discuss tactics. Sincerely, Stuart.
What is my nationality in this alleged?
You're Russian.
Oh, then I would do it. If I'm in the Russian military and I was a Russian war, I wouldn't decline because it's a suicide mission.
It's
just
the
same way of,
dude. Yeah.
It's the same. Well, no, it hasn't. Just the same way of when I was in the Navy. If there was a mission I didn't think I was coming back from, I'd still do it. That's my job, especially if it's over your home territory, like we talked about.
Well, no, it's over Ukraine. You're Russian
close.
going into Ukraine, and they're telling you to commit war crimes.
Well, I mean, you follow the orders of the country that you're serving. That's the only example I can give because I've only been an American pilot fighting for America. So, sorry.
Yeah. All right, Wombat. I think we've had enough for today.
It's been fun. Thanks for having me. Hey, can I plug one thing real quick? So to speak. I have a giveaway.
This is just going on, by the way. There's nothing else.
That's fine. There's a giveaway. You probably have seen it on Instagram.
What are we giving away, Wombat?
So the full pack, signed hardcovers of both books.
Wow.
Keychains, bookmarks.
I might have that.
Do you have the picture?
No, I have this.
No, it's Instagram. Purely Instagram.
Son of this one.
Right there. So Trees in Flight, Vengeance Flight, hardcover. Mm-hmm. I probably should check that. Nobody sends me anything. So bookmarks, bottle breacher, coin, sticker, patches, all that. And
merchandising. You're like Spaceballs.
This is why it's really important. A company called Toehold that makes flip-flops and cool leather goods threw in a red crocodile minimalistic wallet. And I can tell you, it is extremely nice. It's a $175 wallet. It's all going to be given away tomorrow morning.
Wow. Is it going to be live?
No, I don't do lives.
You're doing a live right now.
Crap. But it is a good contest. And I think it's worth people going over there and following and doing all that stuff, because it's probably the biggest contest I've ever given. And then the other thing I want to plug is next week, if you're on my Instagram, expect to see a ton of Wake for Warrior stuff, because I am going to do a 4-day Wake for Warriors coaching event down in Georgia that's going to be spectacular, working with the EOD Warriors. So
awesome.
Keep an eye on that.
Awesome. Well,
so
cool.
Yeah, that's what I got.
Wombat, thanks for impromptu joining the Mover Mailbag.
Yeah, sorry I was spamming your comments on YouTube, but
thank you for everybody joining us today. We haven't done one of these in a while. Thank you for all the people that sent me the stuff.
I'm jealous.
Holly. I mean, look at this, dude.
That's really cool. I don't have anything. I mean, people have sent me stuff. That's not what I'm saying. But.
Yeah, thank you. And so join us Monday, 8:00 Eastern time. Probably the last Monday until we figure out how not to compete with. This will prove, I think, that we shouldn't compete with Monday Night Football. I think that's what we're going to find out.
I think you need to do Tuesday nights. Nothing happens.
We can't. Casmo, dude. Casmo's doing. It would be inappropriate.
Can you deconflict hourly?
I want to do it during the day, like now time, because this is when people are alive and, other parts of the
I'm
world.
barely alive when you do those.
Yeah, but that's all Mr. Family Man, which is
it's tough. It is tough.
That's the partnership.
What else? Because there's football on Thursdays.
Yeah, Thursday through Monday you can't because it's football,
College
racing,
football,
high school
racing.
football, all the stuff. People are out. You really only have Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
What about Wednesday?
You'd have to ask Gonky.
He's not here right now, so I can't.
Well, I don't know. You know what? He's on his way to drill too, but we don't drill at the same place anymore. It's very sad.
Oh, that's far. I think that any day will work if you can deconflict it with the big things that people watch. Man, that helps. But as long as you do it consistently, I think that's one of the major reasons that it has been successful this time is because it's consistent. In my opinion,
I would say that the numbers don't support calling it successful this time, but I get what you're saying. The channel in general has been on a very steep decline from what it has been.
Well, I take full credit for my snarkiness and sarcasm.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a struggle. That's what I'll say.
Everything is though, because I mean that's just this world, right? I mean,
well,
we live in a world where things are. I mean, well, here's one. I'll give you one. Do you get more clicks on the 2-hour video or on the broken up shorter videos?
Shorter videos, depending on the topic.
Okay. So the point I get at is in the world we live in, everybody is so focused on.
No, you're right.
The shiny thing. So could that have been an issue? Can you shorten the format to do an hour?
No, because we take the clips. I'm not talking. The clips are what I shorten everything.
Usually 20, 30 minutes, right?
Yeah, I mean, or less, 10 or less. I mean, depends. It's the clips are fine. It's just like Mover Ruins Movies is kind of the big one that drives this channel. I think that's what most people are subscribed to, which is not what we're doing. So, if I put out like Call of Duty got more views than anything here. However, you put out the MiG-23 thing, it gets 10,000 views in a day. However, it doesn't get I don't get half as many views as channels like a third the size. And that can get frustrating because you're like, okay, well, the subscriber number doesn't mean a whole lot. So, I mean, is what it is, man. Gonky and I have talked about that. Yeah, we've talked about this, and it's just, dude, we have to keep doing what we do, and either it'll work out or it won't. But if we start trying to chase it, it's not gonna be good quality. So why even bother?
Stay true to yourself. That's what we said before. So
awesome. Well, hey, appreciate it. Thanks everybody. I'm glad we got to do this. Stay tuned for more content coming out from last month or Monday's episode. Wombat, thanks again. Check out T.R. Mattson, author, tomorrow and all days, every day. And we'll see you next
time. It's
going to be good.
It's $400 worth of stuff going out tomorrow.
See ya.
Bye.